From the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks, this is Studio One.
Hi everyone and welcome to Studio One. I'm Ann Hook along with Averi Haugesag. Today on the show, a cappella is as popular as ever with the help of TV shows such as Glee. We will get to hear a group of gentlemen who are bringing their own style to this musical art.
Also, a new report from the Childcare America says childcare costs are soaring. In more than half the states, it costs more than college tuition. We'll talk to a provider about the cost of their service. But first, Arctic winds delivered winter surprises all over the U.S. this week. Duluth, Minnesota received 42 inches of snow. Now, this did not stop some of the locals from catching waves, though. A handful of surfers braved the frigid Lake Superior. They say they enjoy the sport so much that the weather doesn't stop them.
On the water, and being able to dance on the water. So I think it's an art form.
Those 42 inches provided a different use for students at the University of Minnesota in Duluth. They held a campus-wide snowball fight. This was their first way of celebrating a rare event. All classes were canceled due to the weather. Students are hoping to bring it back if class ever gets canceled again. Duluth received nearly double the amount of snow as the rest of Minnesota. There will be another item available on the Applebee's tables, and it's not just ketchup bottles. The restaurant chain will feature tablet computers at each table and in multiple bar locations next year. The goal is to add entertainment and convenience to diners. They can play games, place their initial order, and pay the check. Applebee's president says this new installation will give customers more control over their dining experience. The Kansas City restaurant will install 100,000 computers in more than 1,800 locations in 2014. The Food and Drug Administration is in place to help protect the health of the American people. But now they're barking up a different tree. The FDA is taking steps to make animal feed and pet food safer in the U.S. The proposed legislation aims to protect animal foods from bacteria, chemicals, or other contaminants. Under the rule, manufacturers would be required to implement procedures to prevent foodborne illness.
I think something needs to be done because people aren't aware. I mean, either that or just a lot of education because people just seriously aren't aware of what's in their dog treat.
There are currently no safeguards which require hazard testing of animal food. This rule would also help ensure that imported foods are as safe as those produced in the U.S.
Investors are always searching for a way to reduce transaction fees. The online currency called Bitcoin may be a solution. Bitcoins were created in 2009 by an unknown author. This virtual currency is created by a computer algorithm. The computers that use the algorithm all belong to volunteers who exchange their computer power for Bitcoins. This makes transactions cheap and allows Bitcoin users to move millions of dollars in transactions that cost only pennies. The currency has no central regulator and its future is uncertain. Despite its unclear future, people are moving money through the currency.
Studies say nearly half of the average income is spent on household bills. Another quarter is spent on food or personal items. We found out where some people spend an additional 20%.
Checkups at Alice's mom. Can you help? Child care providers have many rules and regulations to follow.
Has a high school diploma and have been certified as taking 12 training hours of basic child care.
Because of these standards, prices of child care have increased in the last few years. Most child care centers charge a total that is close to or equivalent to the prices of college tuition. CollegeData.com says that the average public college tuition is around $8,000.
Most child care centers, 86% of the tuition they receive goes towards salaries and benefits, leaving them with not a whole lot to cover all the other expenses.
The money that parents are required to pay is also used towards food, entertainment, and educational supplies. For parents on a tight budget, the cost of childcare can sometimes be a problem.
I think childcare is expensive, but it's incredibly important, so that I think the rates are probably, hopefully, represent the importance of it.
EducationWeek.org says that in the last few years, childcare prices have risen up to 8 times faster than the average wages. Education is often said to be priceless. In this case, it's certainly taking a toll on parents' wallets. I'm Tasha Olson, reporting for Studio One.
Some states have subsidy programs that can help eligible families with children pay for daycare. And that's the news for now. Ann?
All right, thanks, Avery. You know, who knew that childcare could really cost a really big penny?
I know,
pretty penny.
it's pretty expensive.
All right, let's move it now to Johnathan Metz in the weather studio, who's going to give us some more info on the blustery weather.
Well, Ann and Avery, that's right. A major winter storm affected parts of the northern plains and the Mountain West this last week. Duluth got, of course, over 40 inches of snow, but the biggest problem is that there was strong wind up to 40 miles per hour in regions in Minnesota. And this snow was pretty light, and so it was able to get picked up and brought along. Now, this footage is from Bozeman, where the storm had left just a couple of days before. This is radar imagery from the last 24 hours of the storm. You can see it over much of Duluth, northern Minnesota, and northern Wisconsin, and it's now started and had moved off into much of southern Canada by the end of that period, but it certainly affected much of eastern North Dakota as well as Montana over the last several days. But behind it, there's a lot of frigid cold air coming down from southern Canada. And so we'll talk a little bit about cold safety. You always want to keep a winter survival kit in your car. You never know when you might need it. Also, you should always dress warmly and in layers. Cover up as much of your exposed skin as possible. But if your clothes start to get wet outside, you want to change those as soon as possible because they have left or lost the ability to keep you warm. But now the National Weather Service, cold or warm, launches weather balloons twice a day at over 100 places across the United States.
It's not a bird, nor a plane, and certainly not Superman. It's a weather balloon. These balloons, or formerly known as radiosondes, collect data from the atmosphere. They start at the surface of the Earth and go up until the balloon bursts at heights of 20 miles.
They'll take measurements of temperature, pressure, and wind.
The data collected is used for research groups and to help get an understanding of what's happening in the atmosphere.
Then I kind of sit with the computer and watch as the data comes in, because you can watch the data come in as it's flying.
Releasing a weather balloon might sound fun and easy, but there are many things that can go wrong if proper precautions aren't taken.
To ensure that when we release the balloon, there's nothing that it can get caught on. Because if it gets caught, you lose the balloon, you lose the package, and you pretty much just threw away $300.
The small radiosonde package is valuable in more ways than one. This super high-flying balloon provides atmospheric scientists everywhere with its data. With photographer Kellen Peters, I'm Molly Offworth, reporting for Studio One.
And these weather balloons can reach up to 25 feet across by the time they burst at the top of the atmosphere. That brings me to our weather question for this week. Which condition is not needed in order for a storm to be classified as a blizzard? Is it A, snowfall, B, low visibility, C, high winds, D, duration? And you know the drill. I can't let you see the answer until the end of the show.
You know, Jonathan, I really can't. All right, let's move to Averi Haugesag with today's sports story.
Thanks, Ann. There is a common myth that the glory days are when people are young. A group of individuals at the local gym found an activity that can be perfected at any age.
Every Sunday at the Grand Forks YMCA, you will find Veronica Whitehead. Most of the time, she will have a pickleball racket in hand.
There are lots of good things about pickleball.
Despite its dill-flavored name, pickleball is growing in popularity across the globe.
Pickleball is played on a court that's the same size as a badminton court, with a low net, rather like a tennis net, and you play with a solid paddle and a wiffle.
Players say pickleball is an easy sport to pick up.
It's a great game for all ages, but it's particularly popular with the senior group.
I think it's an easy sport to pick up. For a lot of people, it's a lot easier on the knees and stuff than the tennis and the racquetball.
Seniors and teenagers alike have been starting to play. Veronica says the reason behind the pickleball madness is something that can benefit everyone.
The competitive element and the social element. I like both. It's great exercise and it's good for all ages.
Studies show that people tend to eat more in the winter. As a new year approaches, many will try and lose weight by dieting, while others will try healthier foods. But simply exercising as people do in pickleball can have a positive effect on one's health. Reporting for Studio One, I'm Will Biernat.
In just 2 years, their roster has grown from a few to over 25 players in total. And that's a sports story for today's show. Ann?
All right, thanks. You know, that looks like a lot of fun.
It does.
Music can be used in the service of others. Next, we'll hear a male singing group that uses their voices for performing and charity.
Closed captioning for Studio One is underwritten in part by NDAD, helping others to help themselves.
North Dakota is facing challenges in healthcare delivery. The University of North Dakota School of Medicine and Health Sciences is building a place to help meet the state's healthcare needs. In addition to a new structure, we're also building interaction between healthcare professionals while building a workforce through expanding class sizes. We're inspiring our youth to engage in healthcare careers and exploring ways to reduce disease. It starts here and ends here, building a better future for North Dakota.
At the University of North Dakota College of Engineering and Mines, classes have real-life application. Mentors guide students. Our work improves quality of life by answering tough questions with creativity and innovation. The University of North Dakota College of Engineering and Mines, training tomorrow's engineering and geology experts today.
University of North Dakota College of Business and Public Administration, connecting vision to innovation.
Studio One closed captioning is underwritten in part by Options, your disability information source.
A cappella is a musical performance without the use of instruments. It takes a special talent to perfect this art. The Varsity Gentlemen, a male ensemble group, are here to share this talent with us today. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for being on the show today.
You're welcome.
Brian, please tell me the history of the Gents.
Well, the Varsity Gentlemen is a student organization that started in 2005 by a student named Dave Barta. We started kind of as like a guys group who likes to sing, but a main focus of it is charity. I mean, that's like our basis where we're from.
Well, like what you were saying before, the group is a performance, but it's also based on charity. Why did you want to incorporate this aspect?
We absolutely love giving back to the community. It's important to do that, I think, as a person just wherever you are, and this group of guys right here absolutely love doing that.
Well, last year you donated over $4,000 to Stanford Children's Hospital, which is awesome. Tell me, how did that feel knowing that you made that contribution?
Knowing that we're able to make a difference in whether it's 2, 3, 1 person's life is just exponentially huge. We get a great feeling by helping out.
Is there any special examples of the patients that you performed for?
Yes, one in particular for me. We sang "The Lion Sleeps Tonight" for a very sick child, and it was her favorite song. Her parents started crying when they started hearing it, and it was a very touching moment, and it was very hard to get through.
All right. Well, Phil, I actually want to ask you a couple of questions now. We're going to pull Brian out of the way here. Tell me, how did you become involved in the Gents?
I guess I joined when I was a freshman, and I've been in it ever since. They kind of pulled us in from the men's choir we were in, and it's definitely worth the time we put into it, I guess.
What type of songs do you perform?
We do everything from we sing gospel to Maroon 5 to CeeLo Green, lots of pop, anything in between, even holiday music.
What's your favorite aspect of performing?
Whenever we work really hard for a whole semester, and then we get to put on a big concert, and then give that check to the charity at the end of the semester. It's getting to see what we actually do to help.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be having our own personal performance from the Varsity Gentlemen, so let's hear them play.
On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a partridge in a pear tree. On the second day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 2 turtle doves and a partridge in a pear tree. On the fourth day of Christmas, third day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 5 golden rings. 4 calling birds, French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree. On the 9th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me my true love gave to me 8 ladies dancing, 7 ladies dancing, 6 ladies dancing, 5. You better not shout, you better not cry, you better not in a pear tree. On the 9th, no. On the 8th, no. On the 7th day of Christmas, with boughs of holly, here we come, a wassail, 6 geese a-laying, 5 golden rings, 4 calling birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves. Here with boar's head and hen bear I, bedecked with bays and partridge in a pear tree. On the 11th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 11 pipers piping, 10 lords a leaping, 9 ladies dancing, 8 maids a milking, 7 swans a swimming, 6 geese a laying, 5 golden rings, 4 calling birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. On the 12th day of Christmas, my true love
a little dreidel, I made it out of clay, and when it's dry and ready, I love that song.
Maybe next year.
On the 12th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me on the 12th day my true love gave to me 12 drummers drumming like Olympus upon the Serengeti. 11 pipers piping, 10 lords a leaping. Milking, and they were milking just for me. I had Christmas down in Africa. 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 Gonna deck the halls and do the things we never had. Partridge in a big pear tree. Partridge in a big pear tree. Partridge in a big pear tree.
You're watching Studio One from the University of North Dakota. We'll be right back after this.
Studio One closed captioning is underwritten in part by Options, your disability information source.
It's not the size of the woman in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the woman.
Some consider graduation the end of the college experience. For others, it's just the beginning.
And the university provided an environment where I could grow.
Many years after I graduated, I'm still receiving dividends from my experience as a student at UND.
The University of North Dakota Alumni Association is committed to growing the university by growing the alumni family.
At At the University of North Dakota College of Engineering and Mines, classes have real-life application. Mentors guide students. Our work improves quality of life by answering tough questions with creativity and innovation. The University of North Dakota College of Engineering and Mines, training tomorrow's engineering and geology experts today.
Really admire the faculty. They're the ones that kind of helped push me through this.
Courses are hands-on and interactive. The communication program has so many different facets to it. One of the great things about the staff in the communication department is that they love what they do. They encourage you to really critically think and analyze everything you're learning. They're so into it, and it makes you want to be into it.
If you would like to attend a live show, go to our website at studio1.und.edu.
Christian Bale stars in the new thriller Out of the Furnace as the main character, Russell Bays. Russell is a hard-working steelworker who will do anything to take care of his family. Casey Affleck plays his younger brother who returns home after 4 years in Iraq. When Russell suddenly ends up in jail, his brother does whatever he can to make ends meet. His efforts get him tangled up with a sociopath. He goes missing shortly after Russell is released from prison. Russell spirals into a vicious cycle on his goal to find his brother.
Does he hold on to this moral code that he's always had his entire life, which has unfortunately been wonderful, but and correct thing, but it's brought him nothing? Or does he descend into violence and retribution, but in a very justifiable manner?
When Bale received the script, he was unavailable to accept the role. Director Scott Cooper refused to make the movie without him. Cooper says he only wanted Bale to play the lead role. Out of the Furnace will be released nationwide on December 6th with an R rating. Some say healthy eating will help you live longer. A CNN article says a handful of nuts a day are linked to having a longer life. Those who reported regularly consumed nuts were less likely to die from a variety of diseases. We want your thoughts on what magic food you think might help people live longer.
Fruits and nuts, mostly, because I eat a lot of those, like these blueberries and pomegranates, and then just a handful of nuts every day, almonds, cashews, those types of things.
Probably a banana, because it adds so much potassium to your diet and other essential vitamins that you need.
I would say yogurt's pretty good for you because it has some good bacteria in it that helps your digestion.
Sardines, I eat them 5 days a week.
He lived in England. He lived to almost 150 years old. He was asked what was his secret. Oats in the morning, barley in the evening.
Anything dark green, dark leafy greens would be what I would think. That's what I'm trying to eat more of.
Fruits and vegetables, because they are filled with antioxidants and they fill you up from the cellular level.
I would pick pink lemonade Dasani drops because anything that your heart loves can't be bad for you.
A comment from our Facebook page. Laura from Fargo says, red wine, blueberries, and Cheerios. I've heard having a glass of wine every night is good for your heart. Blueberries have antioxidants, and Cheerios are supposed to help with cholesterol. Ryan from Grand Forks says, I think garlic and black coffee. Garlic has been used for thousands of years for therapeutic and medicinal purposes. Black coffee is packed with antioxidants, all in moderation, of course.
A lot of people like to have their cup of joe. We found a barista whose cup is helping a bigger cause.
Coffee shops have a comforting environment. David Sandquist feels right at home behind an espresso machine.
It was pretty much all self-taught, just reading online, buying one brew method and trying it, and then buying another.
Today, David shares his love for coffee with others. This class is called The Art of Coffee. It includes different types of brewing methods, a lesson about the espresso machine, and latte art.
When I started out doing the latte art, stuff that I thought that wasn't very good, it was kind of cool seeing people taking out their phone and like taking a picture of it.
Many baristas need to go through hours of training and preparation. David's return on investment is different than most.
People are always like, you don't get paid to do this, and wondering why would I spend so much time on something that like a normal barista gets paid for.
David volunteers at the Ember Coffee Shop in Grand Forks, North Dakota. The Ember has a different type of business model. The coffee shop is a nonprofit that focuses on giving back to those in need.
It's nice just to know that I can be drinking coffee and still helping someone else.
Since we are volunteers, we're all really passionate about coffee.
His love of coffee and volunteerism helps others far beyond this coffee house. With photographer Alex Stadnick, I'm Christiana Dogan reporting for Studio One.
David pays the bills as a full-time flight instructor. Along with the class, the Ember hosts other events, including music concerts.
You know, right in that ending shot, I saw that really cool flower in the design in the coffee. You know what? I'd really like to have that when I'm taking a sip.
Yeah, it is kind of cool. It is cool. I've been there before, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, I've always wanted to try it. What's it like in there?
You know, it's actually pretty cool. When I was there, they had, I got a cup of coffee, didn't have the cool design, but then there was also a music concert going on, and it was pretty cool. It was a cool thing.
Well, I'll have to go there sometime.
Yeah.
Let's bring it back to Johnathan Metz, who's now in studio with a final look at today's weather. Come on, Johnathan, tell me how it looks.
Well, Anne, as in Averi, it's going to be a frigid week across much of the United States, mainly because of this cold air from Minnesota that's infecting a large part of the country. The only part that's going to be a little bit warmer is down in the southern part of Florida. But it'll be a wetter than average in the Pacific Northwest as well as in the southeastern part of the country. The only drier spot down in the southern plains. That brings me back to our weather question of the week. Which condition is not needed in order for a storm to be classified as a blizzard? Is it A, snowfall, B, low visibility, C, high winds, or D, duration? Surprisingly, the answer may actually be snowfall, and that is because a blizzard is mainly about what you can see and the fact that you cannot see it. So, Ann and Averi, that's the weather for today.
Well, regardless, I don't like that it's a sign of a blizzard.
Oh, I absolutely do not want a blizzard.
Oh, you know, Johnathan, this cold weather and Averi, this cold weather is just really starting to freeze my bones.
I know,
already.
I was snowed into my apartment this morning. I couldn't even get out of there.
My car couldn't start. I beat ya. And that's our show for today. As always, you can follow us through social media or get more information on our website. From all of us at Studio One, have a great week.